Hey guys, this is the Iamvanguard podcast here with Domino Paris, Sean from Winning Image, and we got Anthony as our guest.
Hello.
What's
It's like,
good?
hello.
So
Sean trying to
me,
sound cool.
I know he's trying to sound cool, but
What's
me and
good?
Domino Paris just came back from the Philly BCS of
Sweet.
2024. So we wanted to kind of talk about our experiences, since this is basically our first regionals in 5, 6 years.
5 years
5 years.
or ish. I don't know.
Because I stopped going to BCSs for a long time, and then I just went to ARGs before I stopped playing. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, no, really good. It was interesting because normally, right, we were just so accustomed to going to New York because I think that was the expectation, I guess, this year. But it was pretty refreshing to see that it was in Philadelphia because travel wise,
It
it's
was
a
amazing.
lot easier on us. And I really love the convention center we were in. I mean, we were able to house almost was it how many people we had for Vanguard? It was like almost 600 people
And we had
and
like almost like
Weiss
650, 200-ish players for Weiss, I believe.
Sounds
Weiss got
fun.
booked. Weiss was 100% booked. So the fact is that we were able to split the whole area. Like one half was Weiss, the other half was Vanguard, and we still had tables for side events.
Yep.
Like it was, I thought it was just really great overall and good space, everything. I mean, that's what a convention center. That's why it's good to have it in a convention center.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, just really good. Really loved it.
So how was your games? I know that we personally talked about it a lot because we were both a little like we both had really bad luck with our games. But did you want to go ahead or should I go ahead?
Let me go ahead first, just
Yeah.
so it's like fresh in my mind before it leaves my head. So I think overall a disappointing day. I mean, I'll just say, I went X3, which obviously we did 8 rounds, so I was
Yeah,
five and
actually.
three or X3,
We
which is
did we
great.
did
But we'll
more
get to that.
rounds than other regionals.
Yeah, so it was good. I liked it. It was 8 rounds, 30 minutes, which I said I think before in previous podcasts, like 30 minutes is like I think a perfect number. And there were people still getting into time. Even the judge was so lenient on like giving like an extra minute for people to resolve their games and send in a result. Because I remember them repeating like 5 times, like please submit your result. Table 197, please submit your result. Oh, this will be a double loss now. So, but I think 30 minutes I think was comfortable, very comfortable with 30 minutes.
I was happy.
I still had to play with efficiency. I think you still have to play with efficiency, with it, but I didn't feel as anxious, especially when you get those clean games where both you and your opponent are healing. You're not really pushing a lot of damage per turn, so it's like a nice, good back and forth games. And yeah, never got into time. People around me and my tables never got into time, so I thought it was good. But yeah, I went X3. Wasn't happy with the result, obviously. Very disappointed in that I couldn't, do any better than that. But yeah, my first round, I can't remember the guy's name. I think he went by like Nirvana Jeva as this his handle name or something. But I know he's a good player. He had a max rarity Leonore deck, like literally all SEC and whatever. And he, attended multiple BCSs and topped a few of them. So maybe anyone who picks this up can know who he was. I straight up just don't remember, or I can look it up, but I don't feel like it right now. But yeah, he played Leonore, and the worst case, I was playing Blagnemire, and the worst case scenario happened where I lost the die roll, went second against Leonore. I got critted on his triple drive check that pushed my damage up really high. I couldn't heal out of it, nor was I able to, hit any well timed damage triggers to kind of help guard a little bit easier. And then on his fourth turn, when he was making the final push, I mean, I really had to like guard one to pass for it because again, he conveniently critted me to put me from 3 to 5, and I didn't hit a single damage trigger along the way, which my deck was compressed very well with trigger ratios. I was drive checking pretty dry, just really bad luck, but he was at 4 damage. So if I just survived that turn, I mean, I would have closed out the game with Divine Skill. But, that's how it is when you go second in that matchup. So I lost the first round. Second round was weird. My opponent shook my hand, like when we were about to start. And then I, was gathering my stuff. I was just glancing over to the person next to me, talking a little bit, and then I faced forward, and he was gone. And I saw, I guess he and his group walked out the place. So I guess they left early. So yeah, I didn't have a buy card, but I guess round 2 was my buy card because it counted as a no show. I was like, oh sure. Then round 3 I'd say was like my first win. Round 3 was my first win. I faced Kyrie. It was an interesting match because I have experience facing the deck a few times from our local lyrical players. It was weird. My opponent I think had like a 10 plus card hand like turn 3 or turn 4, and he didn't call anything. He just swung 13k raw. And I was kind of taken aback, so I was kind of confused. So I guarded 2 to pass. I kept my damage low, and everything kind of went well for me from there. I stalled 1 turn to Divine Skill because he healed down, and I was able to close out the game. I Divine Skilled him at 3, and I hit the crit uh, to close out the game. And he talked to me after I discussed the game with him afterwards because he was a good sport, and he just said he had a very awkward hand and he didn't want to like call down like his few pieces he had to get them killed by Blangemar. So I was like, okay. So that was my first actual win. Round 4, what did I play? So it was 2-1. Round 4, I played against. Dang. No, I had the memory. I had it in my head. I'll get back to round 4.
I actually pulled up my match history to make it easier for me.
Yeah. Here. Let me pull out my phone. Let me pull up my Navi. David, why don't you go over your first 3 rounds while I look this.
I can actually go over mine fully. So yeah, I had a pretty rough day. I went against first round. I went against Jiva. I was doing very well because I know what the deck exactly did. So I was maintaining around 2 damage. And he went first. So I was at 2 damage by the time. So I went ahead and waited for his second turn. He persona rided. He did his Jiva things with the overdress. Had his 2 rear guards stacked up to kill me. But I was at 2 damage and I had a lot of hand and I had a lot of shield, so I was sitting pretty comfortable. There was a situation I had to make. So I had a no guard the main Vanguard. So he proceeded to do his triple drive with Jiva. He goes crit crit OT, the red one. He restood his Vanguard. Obviously I had to take it. So I was at 5 damage. Because that I didn't have enough shield for the second OT attack, I had to just take it at that point, and he proceeded to hit 2 more crits. So that was the first game. Firm handshake. Hey, good game, man. I mean, good luck on your next round. Round 2, I played against Fennel. But the guy that was playing Fennel, he didn't seem very. Like I don't think he knew my the matchup against dolls, so he kind of struggled, and there was a couple misplays that he did with the deck. And I'm so used to seeing Star play that deck, so I was aware what to do against it. So it was a pretty like I wasn't hitting triggers though to kill him earlier enough, so it went into almost like 20-minute time. So I did win, but it was very tough for me to win that game because I had to like resource myself pretty well for that game. So that was that game. Round 3, I played against a guy from Superstar Locals in Baltimore, or near Baltimore. He was playing Varga. Yeah, I got Varga'd. Not much to say, right? So he hits the crit, restands and attack again. And I had enough resources and everything, but I had to want to pass his last attack because I had 3 grade 3s in my hand with a 15k. So I used the guard from my Android skill, and then I used his 15k shield, so it was 1 to pass. He hits the 1 trigger that he needed, which was another crit, so that was game. So handshake, good game. Round 4, I had a bye. Well, I didn't have a bye. My opponent just didn't show up, so I had to call judge and wait the 5 minutes, and then walked up to the headquarters and then reported, hey, my opponent didn't show up, so I got my win. Round 5, I played against Impuldio. I actually was doing really well against it as well. And then Impuldio goes, quad drive with the crit, he goes heel front heel front. So that was pretty much game. And then game 6, I played against Levy Dress. That was my first time playing against Levy Dress, so it was a very interesting matchup. But I think overall, I didn't know how the deck worked, but I just noticed that he was multi-attacking a lot, so it was a very easier matchup for me. For now, when King Levy Dress comes out, it's a different story. But as of Levy Dress for now, it was an easy matchup, so I took that game. Game 7, I played against another Varga deck. Actually, shout out to Gary for being a good sport. It was a tough game. Well, no, sorry, it wasn't a tough game because I usually don't have big problems against Varga. And I actually wasn't grade 3 clogged this time, so I actually was able to beat him like how I was expecting to beat Varga. So easy game. But yeah, Gary knew the matchup, and he kind of knew like it was going to be a hard matchup for him. So good from handshake. And then as Gabe said, I think Gabe actually played against Gary as well.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Round 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was round 4. Shoutouts to Gary Baker because he was playing Varga. But I'll get back to mine. Go ahead and finish yours.
Yeah. So I played against Gary. Very amazing guy to talk with. And then round 8, I played against what's his name? But his ID is Cassidy, but he's from Greedy Locals. So I knew him as well. He was playing the new lyrical deck, and I actually didn't know what that deck did as much. So I miscalculated on guarding. So he won the matchup. I should have perfect guarded it, but I decided to make it 2 to pass, and he hit it. So that was game. So that was my 8 games. I went X4 in total.
Okay. Yeah, so round 4. Yeah, shoutouts to Gary Baker. He's actually a longtime subscriber of mine. Really good guy. Really good guy overall. Yeah, he was playing Varga, and I think he had some familiarity with like Blangemeyer, but it was more like he just didn't know the exact breakdown of it because I think from what I remembered, he told me he didn't really have any experience dealing with it, but he's heard of it. So yeah, so unfortunately with Blangemeyer, if you don't really know what he does like fully, he can be very punishing. So and of course, considering that I got a Varga deck myself and I've had my experience with it, I kind of already understand, how I pretty much have a good understanding of dealing with Varga as well. But everything kind of just worked out as you would expect with Blangemeyer. When everything goes well, I went first. But great guy overall. And no, he didn't give me the win, if anyone wants to say that. But yeah, just good clean game. He was a good sport and just a good guy to talk to and see at these events here and there. We actually have a little bit of history, which is kind of funny because I got paired up against him back in the buddy fight days before, which is kind of weird. Which is kind of funny, like the coincidence that is. Anywho, that was my round 4. So I was 3-1 at that point. Round 5, unfortunately, I faced a good player playing Leonore, and same thing happened round 1. I went second. I lost the die roll despite I rolled a 9, but then I still lost the die roll. And I went second against Leonore, and pretty much the same thing kind of happened to me. It was a pretty good clean game, but I just couldn't get any type of good variance on my end when I needed to. But same thing as round 1. If I just survived that one extra turn, then I would have closed out the game. I probably most likely would have closed out the game, considering my opponent was at 4 damage, Divine Skill was ready, and I had Zamoog ready as well. But it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. And next round, I did face Aqualibra, and I was able to go first. But then, of course, now that I had some good fortune of facing a deck that I think can be a good matchup for Blangemeyer, and I was able to go first. Fortunately, I had to miss twice on the ride line, so I missed out on a lot of opportunities there. I think, if I remember, I got critted pretty early and rushed early, and I just couldn't hit any triggers like to save myself. And despite having, I think, 4 heals left in my deck, by the time we got to like turn 3, I still couldn't like heal out of anything, and I couldn't hit any damage triggers that I need to. My whole entire damage zone was clean, going 1 through 5. So that was pretty frustrating. So unfortunately, that ended up being my 3rd loss of the game of the day. And round 7, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Geneva. Or
Shiva,
The
the one I played against first
the
round. The triple
maybe
drive. He overdresses like a bunch of cards together.
yeah, the
It has a yeah, yeah,
Trickstar.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Trickstar.
yeah.
That Jeep is
Yeah, he
Nirvana.
was Jiva, yeah, yeah. But I keep confusing that with Nirvana. But yeah, I faced him. I never actually seen the deck because obviously I skipped Overdress, so I've never actually seen how it plays. But I remembered the key moment that really gave me almost like that made me hold my breath because I was like, please don't let me have this bad luck again. He had that one rear guard that if it hits, you could retire an entire column. He had that pumped up. His Vanguard was only 13, so he swung with his rear guard. I blocked it because I needed my Zamoog Vaderock column. He swung with his Vanguard for 13. I decided I was at 3 damage. I threw 15k down for a 2 to pass. And then lo and behold, he had to hit a critical trigger on his first check, and then he banked it on the Vanguard. I was like, oh crap. But
Yeah,
thankfully he missed. But I don't blame him for banking it because we talked about it after the game and it made sense that he did do that because he was like, I know it's like I figure you were probably gonna use your perfect guard for my rear guard anyway.
yeah.
So logically, it's just better to bank it. I was like, I didn't disagree with him. So I still end up winning the game just in convincing fashion, just how as expected with Langdomire when everything goes well for him from that point. But good sport, good guy. And then last round, I faced another subscriber, a longtime subscriber. Shout outs to Doug. I didn't even get his last name, but Doug is his name. But he's been a longtime subscriber, he told me. And, we made really good conversation like after the round. It was the last round. He was playing Chris Rain. And I have familiarity with Chris Rain already because our friend Daniel plays it, and I faced him multiple times with it. And that was the luckiest I got all day and I kind of felt bad because I sacked him hard. I went second, but then I was able to Tiscar 3 times.
Wow.
I was able to heal I think twice through the course of like 2 turns. That put me down to 0 damage, and then when I went from 0 to 1, I OT'd on that damage. So I went to turn 3 with no counter blast because I had 0 damage in my damage zone. Um, so I was ahead, but it was kind of interesting because it did kind of balance it out a little bit, not fully, but a little bit because he was able to heal a few times. And then obviously, Chris Rain does have a built-in crit, so he could easily make up that damage if I'm not careful. So I still had to be very careful not to get caught off guard because, anything can happen. I was sitting on one perfect guard throughout the game, so I was still a little bit concerned because you know how that can be. And but yeah, we were getting close towards the end of time. That was actually the deepest I've gotten into time, which I'm very happy because we had 5 minutes left on a 30-minute round, so that's why I'm glad we had a 30-minute round. And I was able to close out the game in the end. He survived Divine Skill. He did survive my Divine Skill. I critted him when he was at 1 damage when my Divine Skill, so that was pretty lucky on my end. And he was able to survive, and I survived one more turn, and I was able to close out the game from there because I had like double Vade Rocks and Zamoog, and it was just too much, obviously to handle late game. But yeah, just good clean game. Good shout outs again to Doug, and just good conversation we had afterwards. But yeah, 5-3. I wish things could have been better, but looking back, maybe I could have done things a little bit better in maybe one of my matches. Maybe I should have mulliganed more aggressively. Maybe I should have taken more chances. Maybe I shouldn't have guarded early so much. But there's not much I can do except reflect and just try to get better from there.
I was gonna say, how do you go into? So I'm playing the deck that like is stalling, right? I have never passed 24 minutes. The most. 24 minutes
It's
was like the longest time I have played with Direful Dolls.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, man. Like there will be a clean game sometimes
Yeah,
where I healed so much, and he was kind of healing as well, and also sustaining himself at the same time. And I wasn't able to really push in a lot of damage until my divine skill turn because he kept blocking my Zamoog invade rock columns early. So he was still being like a stubborn defender by like just keeping his damage low because he was still able to effectively guard enough. So it wasn't like I was, and I wasn't rushing him early either with Blankmeyer because I didn't, it's just I wasn't able to push a lot of damage, and we were both healing. I healed the most, so that naturally will happen.
So it's funny. So me and my other friend, Brandon, we were the only two people that was playing Direful Dolls for the whole regionals out of the 500 players. As soon as
Interesting.
as soon as both of us heard 30-minute rounds, I was like, oh fuck yes, because our decks are kind of stally, because it's very
Right.
defensive. So we were
Right.
both super happy with 30 minutes rounds. Where it's like, oh yeah, we're cooking tonight, and then we both just got sacked really hard. I was like, it didn't matter anyways.
Yeah, but hey, look, the gamble paid off in some cases,
Yeah,
but
I mean, no,
yeah.
like I said, I don't regret my decision taking Direful Dolls, because I felt like it was a very rogue deck, for the meta. It has a lot of good matchups. And obviously because I lost the first matchup, I have not seen a Shoji Doji the whole day, which was probably really lucky in some ways, but I guess it didn't really matter because I was actually prepared to play Shoji Doji as well. So either way,
Yeah, I don't know
it's
why that happens all the time, man. Like we anticipate one particular matchup and we never see it, and then we end up facing the other matchup that, um, like for me it was Leonor, which I mean, thanks to Sean, we did some testing last minute online with
but
each other because
Leonor
he
is
has
a
a Leonor deck.
very bad matchup for you though, right?
It can be if especially going second, but
Yeah.
we kind of just we've already concluded that like if I go second, I have to hope to get at least lucky enough, or hopefully they don't crit me like early enough.
Yeah, it's a
Then
50-50 deck.
I can do that. But it was interesting because I talked to one of the Leonor guys, and he said I think the number one. I think Leonor was the second most popular deck in the regionals,
It
and then
is.
number one was Doji.
Yeah,
So
Doji and Leonor were the top two favorites decks.
Well, weirdly enough, those are also kind of the top decks. I feel like.
Yeah.
yeah, so well, I'm talking about popularity as well. We're not talking about just like meta. Like that was popularity. Like
Well,
Leonor was the
meta
second
and
most popular.
popularity kind of goes in together though.
Yeah, but just to make sure that people like don't misunderstand. Like
Yeah.
like objectively, we're saying like yeah, we think those are the top two most popular.
Like
So yeah, it makes sense.
for me, interestingly, I have never had to practice against Varga after maybe after set three, to be honest, because I knew the Varga matchup really well with dolls. But I ended up playing both of them. One of them just sacked really well, and the other it was anticipated. So, like I said, I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's why I wasn't regretting my decision of taking the deck. But like I said, sometimes it's just part of the game, and the thing is you have to have that clean state of it is gonna happen. Like you are gonna get sacked by someone, and there's always someone that's gonna sack harder than you. So you have to only do what you can to fix the situation or try to cover the situation. But there's some days you can't do anything. It's just part of the game.
yeah. I mean, when
And
you're
we
talking
play.
about when you're talking about 7, 8 rounds, obviously like your deck choice does matter. You have to play a deck that can give you a good opportunity to be successful in the meta. So
Yeah.
it has to be relevant to the meta. For the most part, you have to be comfortable with it because like our friend Chase. Shout outs to him. He went 5-0 with Levy Dress. And no, set 5 was not legal, obviously. So
He
he
was playing set
like
4
set
Levy
4
Dress.
Levy Dress. Unfortunately, he lost the last 3 rounds. I think if he actually did 7 rounds, he would have made it.
Yeah.
So the 8th round didn't benefit everyone. And then our Chris, one of our local guy, Chris, you heard him from last week's podcast or two. He was playing Chaos,
Kios, yep.
Chaos, Chaos,
Kios,
Chaos.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, he was doing pretty well going into the last round. I think he just missed out. I think he lost
He
out the
lost the
last round.
last game, which really mattered. Because all the
Oh,
X2s
yeah.
were told to stay on the table for deck check.
Yeah, it was crazy too because I remember at the end of the tournament, like they called out I think 6 people, and then I heard like a lot of the people in the room going, "Oh," because I was like that probably meant that like maybe 6 people got DQ'd or something.
Well, I
It's
think
insane.
because some people didn't pass the deck check, so whoever was I think it was four others, because they were asking for 33 to 36 or something like that. So they were
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
two or three more people basically, and then basically those people made it because of the other people not passing the deck check.
Yeah, so
Because the thing is,
Right.
it could just be like you said, the slates being like a little cornered, in the side, and it was like, it happened to be a trigger. I mean, some people could mark it like intentionally, but at the same time, it could have been an accident.
well, we don't know. We don't
Yeah,
know for
we don't
sure
know.
what
Like,
happened,
we
so
don't
let's
know
not
what's going on.
speculate too
So I
much.
would say, since we had Star and Peter as the judges, I might ask him the next time, personally, like, hey, what do you guys like exactly look for?
We can
For deck
we
check.
can we could definitely look into that. But yeah, I mean, I
Just so
guess
we're
so
aware,
yeah.
for ourselves next time.
Yeah, so that was our overall experience, and I thought everything felt great. It was very refreshing. A lot of the positive differences I saw
Man, I was so burnt
from
out though.
everything. Yeah. Oh, real quick, I'm just gonna give a shout out to some of the subscribers I met. Nick from New York, because we have like so many Nicks. Nick from New York, saw him after a while, so glad he's still around. Everything going well
Oh,
for him.
Evan was there, and Evan actually made
Evan
top 32.
playing prison.
Yep, playing prison.
Prior to the tourney, we were
Uh,
talking with him. He was like, "Look, I'm playing." He's like, "I'm playing a deck that will test your fundamentals. I'm gonna go ride grade 1, pass. Ride grade 2, pass, and let's see what you do without counterblast." So yeah, worked out. But yeah, just shout outs to Nick. Shout outs to Doug. Shout outs to Gary Baker. Shout outs to Hal. He was also there too, who recognized me there. So shouting out to the subscribers I saw there. It was pretty cool to see that there's still people out there. I guess like that recognized me. So I didn't really expect that, and I was wearing a hat too as well. So I think
So I
I'm
was gonna
surprised.
say, since you're like kind of doing that, shout outs to two people from our locals and Standard for making top 32, and then we have two people today that finished in top four from our locals,
Premium.
premium.
Yeah.
So pretty
Let's
crazy
list them
day.
off. Let's list them off. Let's do the shout outs now
Yeah.
for them.
Go ahead.
No, you do it. I don't remember.
Oh, so Jason played Varga, made top 32. We have a guy named Shervan at our locals. He's relatively new to our locals. He made top 32 at Houston with Shoji Doji, and he made top four with Shoji Doji for the regional recent or yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday, yeah.
Oh, that's a very nice.
And then today, we got Peter. He's my teacher for Ghidorah. He made second place. He unfortunately lost to Shiranui by like unfortunate luck. So shout outs to Peter. And then Rudy, that was playing Spikes, made top four. So congrats. He actually made third place. So congrats to both of them for being qualified for Worlds.
Nice, Spike Brothers.
And then I had a couple friends that was in the top 32 for standard. Evan that we just talked about from New York. So congrats to him as well.
And anyone else we missed?
I just don't remember on top of my head.
Quick question. Did Chris fail deck check this time, or did he actually pass it?
Chris didn't even get to deck check because he was X3.
Oops. I thought he.
No, but Chris did really well. He just unfortunately lost because you know how Kios works is
Yeah,
it's
chaos
a,
thing,
it's like a
basement.
basically a Leonon type deck. Like it's a 50-50 deck where if he hits the absolute luck, he's gonna win. But if he doesn't get the soul charge that he needs, he loses.
Yeah, I mean he did. I guess he took what I said to heart about deck choice advice. He just said play what you're comfortable with, and I think he had his own motivation because he said he wanted to be the first Chaos to top because no one's done it yet.
Yeah. In the
Hey.
US, no one has done it. To be
Oh,
accurate.
US, excuse me.
US.
In US, correct.
In
Yep.
Japan,
Yeah.
Kios has actually topped multiple times because people in Japan are very luck heavy and balls deep. So
It's,
They
yeah,
go crazy over there. But
yeah,
yeah,
oh
they
yeah,
super high roll over there.
yeah, super
you
high
know,
roll decks.
That's good though. I mean, you guys, it's crazy because you mentioned it, Dave. Like, you play test for certain matchups, but you guys kind of got like a mix of everything, and you were playing that also mix of everything too, David. In your case, it's kind
Oh
of
yeah,
cool.
no, I have very interesting matchups, and like I said, I was actually really comfortable with most matchups. But like there's so much it can take you. Like So it's what it is, and I just picked the safest choice from my opinion because I was actually thinking about playing Blingdemeyer just because it was such a strong deck. But overall, I was just leaning towards the deck I wanted to play more. Because I think even if I played a meta deck, I don't know if I would have felt comfortable. Like, because I'm not the type of person anymore where I enjoy winning. I more like to enjoy. Well, I like winning, but there's a difference. I feel like that I'm more trying to have fun with the decks I play versus playing a deck that's super good. Because I had Shielded Doji at one point, but I just got rid of it because I didn't like it.
Well,
I
like I
think you
told
made the
you, yeah, I think you made the right choice because if not, I wouldn't stop. I won't hear the end of it if you like played Doji or whatever, lost out the same exact way, and you'd be like, "Damn, I should have played dolls. Damn, I should have played dolls." I'm gonna never hear the end of it if you did. So I'm glad that you did. So at least you could get out of your system. You feel satisfied, no
Oh
regrets.
yeah, but maybe if I maybe next year I will be more serious about playing premium as well. So I'll probably try to participate both days next season is what I'm planning to do.
Yeah,
I'm
premium
definitely
is a separate monster.
I'm
Like
definitely planning to go to
learn.
Houston since we know someone there. So I think yeah, I think going to Houston is definitely an aim I have, and I'll definitely let you know, Sean, when I'm going to Houston regionals.
I hope I can go like at least one regional next year.
Yeah, I know. It was
Yeah, I was.
unfortunate you couldn't go because I know you usually go to Springfest and you do relatively well when you go to Springfest, right?
Yeah, like this year like my first Spring Fest because the last time like a few years ago I was supposed to go a certain someone didn't get their booster,
Yeah,
so
weren't you like 19th place in Springfest?
we were 16th. Oh,
Yeah, that's
sorry,
crazy.
17th,
So
17th.
technically you would have been in top 32 if they had it
Yeah,
at BCS
yeah.
Springfest.
We
Yeah.
yeah we got top 17 because we would have pretty sure we would have made it top 16. But we had two no shows, so that kind of messed up with our ranking.
Ah, gotcha.
No, that's wild.
Well, that's still good. I mean, 16th
Yeah.
place out of whatever teams that there were, that's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure like on like day two, like my team got the highest out our whole locals, I believe.
I know. I think team events would sound fun, but I don't know if I'm like necessarily interested in teams because I'll feel bad at the same time.
Well,
If
teams is always nice. Teams is fun because there's always that added insurance.
Well, we'll see.
Just being supported.
If they have an energy generator I'm interested in, then I would actually be interested in going to Springfest, even if even if they have it or not this year, because I know that they might not even have Springfest this year.
We'll see. We'll see. But
Yeah,
I guess we'll get to that when it
because
comes.
Worlds is starting in May, so that's gonna be a very
Yeah.
rough time for them.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess sticking with the topic of the regionals though, like there are a lot of refreshing. There are a lot of good positives and changes. Like obviously top 32 was amazing. For little well, it's great and also a little frustrating at the same time because I know I've made top 32 I
Plenty of
think once
times,
or
years
twice.
back, yeah.
Maybe not plenty, but like I know there's occasions where I went top 32 at like one event. We also made top like 11th at a team event. And I can't tell you how many regionals where I go X2 and there's one round left, but then now it's like but then because there's no guarantee you'll make top 8. So it's like you just kind of drop or you just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So, who knows because with top 32, you can still make it if you're X2. So,
Yeah, I know
but
I know the year I played Sanctuary Guard, like those three regionals I was definitely in top 32. So I mean,
yeah,
it was definitely frustrating like now because we don't have any trophies to prove that. So it's unfortunate,
yeah.
but like I said, I think like honestly, from my opinion, I think Bushiroad kind of took a lot of notes during the years, and I think I'm very happy that the frustration of the tournaments that we had to deal with um is the reason why Bushiroad is doing a lot of the changes that they're making. So I'm actually glad to be one of the pioneers to kind of start off the game for other people and to branch out, like because we definitely pioneered the game for our locals. And I feel like that we go to BCSs and we had I think there was that one occasion when we were in New York, and I know that we were talking to one of the staffs related to the game and about the changes. And I think you can definitely see Bushiroad's been caring a lot more than usual because they do surveys or like how they feel and extra events. So I feel like that this is a lot better than I was expecting it to be. So I'm definitely interested in going to more regionals in the future, just because like I see a lot of positive changes in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just overall, it's definitely improving a lot. Like, and it was really refreshing. I liked the place we were at in Philadelphia. The convention center was there. I thought that was good. It accommodated everyone comfortably, and no issues. And then I think what Sean wanted to bring up too, Bushi Navi was a huge improvement
It's a
as far
huge
as how
improvement, yes.
everything went. Everything went smoothly when it came to the registration. All you do is show up at the door. You just you don't even have to like wait for someone to scan anything. You can just set it yourself. You can just literally activate it or set yourself to participating. Just show the person at the door and just get your little
Yep.
band and walk in.
It was definitely a lot
So
quicker.
the deck log procedure, the fact that you can register your deck ahead of time without having to write everything down and whatnot, you can submit it, which is really cool. And obviously getting the pairings, just as you do with your locals now, I thought was very convenient.
Yep.
And I don't know, this is kind of like an added bonus, I guess, like for me personally, just because my handle name, Domino Personally One, because that was my handle name. I think it was just funny, like people can see ahead of time who it is. But
Yeah.
also too, I don't know. I also like that because of the handle name, you could post up the list of like top 32 to include the handle name, so then people can now see who it is. If you're making a name for yourself, people can now associate your handle name with you as a player rather than just being a number. Um, I remember in the very first regionals in 2013, what they actually did was I thought it was kind of cool. Was once the tournament was over, the head judge just announces on the speaker like the top 8 in order, and they did it by they called you out by your name. They stopped kind of doing that after a little bit, and then they just all right, here's a list, and here's your list of numbers, match your number. And I was like, oh, okay. you know it didn't feel as ceremonial or fun, but I like it. Now you can have your name out there stamped, and it feels more interpersonal in my opinion.
It's super organized. Like it just gives a different level of organization.
Yeah, for sure. Nice chaotic. No, man, I love climbing over people when where the judge had to put up the paper, hang it up on the
Yeah.
wall with the
Oh,
pairings,
yo, that was
and we're
fun.
like, everyone's scrambling and stuff.
Well, even when I was like chilling, I don't know if you guys were like this. Like it just felt like having nice like actual conversations rather than just waiting to see who I'm playing. Like, oh, everybody's moving. Oh, it's time to play. I was like, all right, see you guys later. Like
Yeah,
it
for
was,
sure.
and like if you put noties on, you didn't even have to open the app. Just I don't know. Bushinavi is such a cook. I'm so behind it. You have no idea.
Yeah, no, for sure. I liked it. It was a bit like obviously, but when I was coming back and I learned about the app, I was like, well, we have to use an app now. Because obviously I was being a boomer temporarily and being like, what was wrong with it before? At least at the local level, I feel like it wasn't as necessary. But then once I kind of see how it made everything work a lot easier, and now when
Yeah.
you see it in a regional scale, managing 1,000+ players, it's really good. And that's really, really, really when you find the benefit of it. And all the preparation the night before, and what's cool too is I remember Daniel was comparing his Chris Rain deck with Doug, my last round opponent, because they both play the same deck. And all they did, instead of pulling out their deck and like sorting it out, all they just pulled out their apps and then just like showed each and
Oh
compared
yeah,
their
yeah,
decks.
yeah. That was kind of cool that they were just
That's
easily doing that. Yeah.
Did
yes.
you guys have any repairs, by the way? Sorry,
Yeah, we
didn't mean
did.
to cut
It
you.
happened. It happened once because it happened once because I think there was an inaccuracy, and the judge kept saying it every round from that point. I was like, don't forget to approve. Don't forget to approve. And if your opponent didn't approve, come to us before we pair the next round.
Oh, actually, funny story about that repair, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
So before that repair, I was actually paired up with one of our teammates, Leah. So we were walking together, and we're like, all right, well, I guess we're playing. We know our matchup, so let's go. And then we're walking together, and then as soon as like we were sitting down, they're like, oh, repair, and then me and Leah were like, yes, because we play. She was the only person I purposely test against like my doll deck with the Revertes build on it. So she knew what my deck did. So playing her would have been useless because she knows what my deck does. Because the Revertes only catches a lot of other people off guard that is expecting dolls to be like a slow paced deck. So I was like, yes, I don't have to play her. And she was playing Shoujo Doji, so I was like, ah, fuck, I'm gonna take another loss. But and
Sweet though.
that was the one I ended up playing the Fennel player, which I won. So
But that's sweet though. Like they could do a repair like that instantaneously.
yeah, I know that's great. Like before, it would have took like another 10 to 20 minutes to get that set.
Oh, I remember that, and oh my god, it can be frustrating, but then funny at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like chaotic.
Yeah, but you guys remember like the regionals where they like had to scan that little barcode?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hated that because it was like sometimes you'd wait for like 10, 15 minutes just for a judge to come get you.
Oh yeah, no, oh my god, I remember having a scare before because obviously there's no notifications, and I was just talking to some friends and stuff, and they're on the white side. I remember because they're on the white side, so and I was just talking with them, and I didn't even know that the next round was starting. I didn't even hear the announcement because they didn't announce it. And then, because I was just knowing that people were sitting down, I was like, "Oh shit!" Then I had to like go and scramble, and thankfully I got there in time. But I was like, "Man, that was wild."
Yeah. So I mean, overall, like I think the app definitely makes everything so much more convenient and easier to organize. So definitely, yeah, definitely like the experience so far. With
I agree.
yeah, the bushy
No,
nav is definitely a nice thing.
I personally think with the exception of the time being different at two places after y'all told me because it was 25 in Houston. Bushyard cooked this season. Like
Yeah, no, 100%.
nobody's really complained, and even the people who like teams are like, "Oh, it's another shot to go to Worlds for the extended season,"
Yeah.
without knowing Springfest or not. Because a lot of people like there's more events to just go to. So in your case, Gabe, you played against somebody that goes to multiple regionals. So
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was cool. Oh yeah, I pulled a Masanori heel. I remember that too.
Oh yeah, you should sell that.
oh, that's all right. The promo packs, yeah, those are good too. Like I'm saying, they cook.
Good promo packs too.
I got
yeah.
I got the Dark State crit.
How much is the now one worth? You guys know?
Now one is like 200.
Yeah, like 200.
I remember someone yelling. Do you remember, David? Do you recall, or did you hear someone in the after they hand out the packs? I heard one person yell loudly, "Hey yo, who got the now trigger?" I think man, he was ready to throw money at someone.
Oh no, there's some desperate people for that card.
That was like man, they'll make a lot of money off of her.
And she's a good good marketing item.
Yeah, apparently.
It's funny you mentioned the yelling thing, Gabe, because like I don't like to yell at regionals or just in general unless I'm like really into it, right? But then at I think it was like random round 3, I just yelled like raise the flag when they said you may begin, and then I just caught everybody off guard. Everybody like looked at me. He's like, "What are you playing?"
Like wrong game, buddy.
The correct game.
No, there's a guy who's like 2 tiers down and says, "Oh man, I missed that game so much."
I still play Buddy Fight.
Yeah, I still have my deck.
I haven't touched Buddy Fight in like over 10 years. I respect it as a game though. Just marketing wise, weird.
Yeah.
Could have done better.
But anywho, like, so overall, you guys had a good tournament experience. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really want to go back. I just have some personal stuff going on, so I probably won't go to another BCS this year. But next year, I'll be more prepared to go to at least like 2. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely, like I said, I'm probably gonna go to Houston so I can go see Sean as well. But I think Houston will be a good run. To be honest,
Yeah,
Georgia
no, for sure.
Georgia is definitely something I want to go to because I know I had a very good experience in Georgia. So
I remember
Georgia's
that for a
another
while ago.
yeah, because
I go
that's
to Georgia.
that's the
People
place that I
there.
made 11th place with Gabe for teams.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I remember that.
But like,
Yeah.
I know we have this age old question of like, should Bushiroad charge for tournaments? But like now that y'all have experienced it and see the value of these promo cards, like I really think charging like $10 for entry isn't even such a bad thing to try
So the
and.
whole thing, like why people go to regionals in the first place, like to travel, right, is because
Yeah,
Bushiroad doesn't take payment for tournaments, which I think it's pretty valid. Because you got to remember, like people travel for this, right?
yeah,
And the thing is, like, yeah, I mean the markers and everything are amazing, but I feel like that once they start taking payments for tournaments, that would definitely be a whole like drop off from some people.
that's
Just,
fair.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
it's only $10, yes. Or even if it's 20, I'm actually willing to pay for a tournament because it's only $20, right? Not a big deal. But for some people, that's like a factor where I'm like, oh, it's not a free tournament anymore. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I feel like that's gonna be a lot of the people that play this card game.
I feel that that's more for the local people. Like if you're there local, if you're local and you can just drive there, you probably don't want to pay $20. But I think for those who are already
Yeah,
putting money in to travel, what's another $20 to get better prize support? But I think it's also goes back to what we were talking about before with like casual competitive players.
yeah,
Vanguard's appeal is going to be more casual oriented, and
agreed.
usually a casual oriented player is more about being part of the experience of
Yeah,
just playing in the regionals. They don't necessarily care too much about the prizing
yeah,
and prize support. Because really, not that I don't disagree with some of the suggestions of how to make Vanguard a more like competitive like thing compared to like other card games and better prize support. Let's pay an entry. I
Bushiroad's
think we have to
different.
remember that a lot of us who say these things, we represent a vocal minority, but most of the player base, for the most part, I mean, they're very casual oriented and they're fine with the idea that we get to come in, we have a festival, we get a nice, good experience. I think they're more focused on just being able to experience the game at a higher setting rather than what prizes are given out. And there could be a good way to balance both to satisfy everyone, but but charging an extra fee, um, you could still charge a fee, but I'm not sure how much difference it could make when it comes to what kind of prizing you can make to satisfy. There could be other incentives that you can get with it, like maybe the $20 pays for exclusive merchandise that are handed out, for it. And I'm not talking about like buttons and stupid pins. It could be like other special promo packs as well, like additional packs. You can get booster packs on entry. I know like Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals, I don't know if it changed, but like from 10 years ago, you pay $20, they give you 5 booster packs, and there's some prizing and stuff like that. But really, you get 5 pet booster packs. You're probably not going to get anything from it, and then if you don't top, you don't really see the benefit. So I think that's why it's not maybe appealing to a more casual oriented audience.
All good takes. I mean, I just want to get your thoughts again now that y'all have experienced it.
Well, I was
Just
gonna
because, like,
say, sorry, go ahead.
I know I was just like, because like you guys heard me talk about it, but like when you go there yourself, you like kind of see what I'm talking about, especially because y'all are getting back into it. So, and y'all both did very well. First of all, congrats to y'all. And just getting back into it, it's awesome. And now that y'all
Oh
know
yeah,
what's up, now that we all
I'll
know what's
admit.
up,
So I was
Yeah,
gonna
I'll admit
say,
I was feeling anxious, but yeah.
the top eight decks for Philly, in the winning order is Alden Messiah, the two Dojis, Impaldio, Prison, and the two Leonons.
Alden.
Was the prison player Evan?
The name's not there. This is just the list that the people put up.
Man, let me message him now.
But yeah, definitely. I think the biggest surprise is definitely Alden on topping. A lot of people weren't anticipating the Alden deck to top. Impaldio was kind of expected deck. And then the prison, I believe prison should be Evan, but the prison deck is actually very surprising to see, just because like it wasn't expected in the meta. I feel like that the Doji, the Leonon was expected. Messiah's being the stride deck is kind of interesting to find out as well.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
sure.
Did you guys ask everybody before your round? Do you have a G zone?
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Every
funny,
time.
right? So I heard
Yeah.
that the Houston regionals, they didn't mention anything like that. But for the regionals here, before the tournament started, they were announcing to ask your opponent if they have like anything like a stride deck or a G zone or any sort. If it's at least similar to a G zone or a stride deck, for their question, the opponent does have to answer, and if he did not answer correctly, then he will get disqualified. Like they made that very clear before the round
Well,
started.
I don't remember if they said disqualified. They made a clear statement that that if your opponent was to ask if you had a stride deck, then you are obligated to answer honestly. Then
Well,
they just said
if they don't, it is a disqualification because they were lying and cheating. So,
Well,
well,
I think it's
I don't
because
think he said I think he just said penalties, so maybe there could be warnings or something. But I don't remember him saying disqualification verbatim.
because the
But
thing is,
well,
like going first or second is a huge decision, like for the game state,
Mhm.
and it changes your mulligan and everything too. So I don't think that would be a small penalty won't do it, unfortunately, because it
I just think
changes.
it's
Yeah,
because at another regional there was like, do you have a G zone? And then the guy was like, yeah. And then like, and the guy thought he had a G deck, so like he was like, okay, I'm gonna go second, so you can't stride, yada yada. But then there was nothing in the G deck, nothing in the G zone, because he's like, oh, and his opponent's explanation was, yeah, everybody has a G zone, I just don't have a G deck. He didn't ask for a G deck.
yeah. So they made that clear too. That if they
he
ask any
said
sort
stride deck.
related, yeah,
Yeah.
any related thing to it, they have to answer honestly, is what they were saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just asked everyone, do you have a stride deck? And that's all. And they just said there's a penalty if they lie, but um, you just have to call a judge over. You just call a judge over, say, hey, my opponent lied. You probably give them a warning or something, and then they assess that. I don't know how they would do that, but
I don't know. It just feels kind of pish posh to me
I mean, just
until
answer
until
honestly and
until
just
it
play your
happens to
game.
me. Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think people should just have an honest game. Like I don't know why like cheating is such a you're not paying $20 to get in once again. Like it's a free game. Like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously, people rule shark, people do all these things, and there are gray areas to it,
Yeah.
which it just depends on where you lean to it. Like me personally, like for example, if someone doesn't have the energy generator, like I know
Oh
per
yeah, yeah,
rule in official
the one
tourney
that happened at my
that
like
I
the table next to me.
heard. Yeah, I don't obviously I like that's just what I've heard, and I don't know who was involved or anything like that, but my
Yeah,
opinion on that is just like I do understand. So on one end, I understand it is a like an
tournament setting.
official tournament, a high level tournament, and you need to be prepared to play the game. And I don't know, like I just don't know. It's easy for anyone to say, well, blah, all of that, but then when it's actually happening to you, and basically this person's entire experience can be ruined because you want to do that, which I know it should be his responsibility, but I don't know. I don't know if I have the heart to really do that and get someone like almost like practically eliminated from a tournament because of it. Um,
Yeah.
I try to give benefit of the doubt. I don't know. People may say I'm too nice. I guess it depends on on the person too. But if the person's like a dick to me, I'm like, yeah, well, f you, man. Yeah,
Well, so
get DQ'd.
let's ask this question, right? Uh, just answer how you would feel. So let's say you're at 5-0, or actually let's say you're X1 and you need the extra win to get into top 32. And they're playing Shoja Doji, but they don't have the energy generator. But you need to win this game to make top 32. Would that be the same situation?
I think it's necessary. Like if it's a necessary component of your deck, you have to have it. Cause
Yeah.
like energy
Okay.
generator, we all know, especially by that point in the tournament, you need one. And it's on your deck list. So if you don't have one and it's on your deck list, I think that's a valid call out. That's my take on
I
it.
think it's the stake of. I think that's just the stake, or that's like the stake of the situation, because the game that I was monitoring, because it was the table next to me, it was like round 5, and the table I was at were like X3s, right? So obviously, if
Mhm.
you're X3, like it doesn't really matter, right? So I think in that case, Gabe is correct. I think he could have just went along and said, hey man, I would recommend buying one, but we can just go ahead and proceed this turn like our round now. But I would just go buy one from someone, and just give them the friendly advice and just play the game, because you're already X3, whatever. Like you're not gonna make it, to be honest.
Mm,
Yeah.
But if it's
I
if it's a higher stake though, I feel like that I would have to call out, just because like I said, you're X1, and if you don't win the next one, you won't make it. I mean, I'm pretty sure I would call out. It's a high stake.
Yeah, no,
I
on
mean,
your
sucks
deck
for
list
him, but I
would
mean,
be
I'm sorry, but it's it's a very like high risk, because he might just sack you and accidentally win, and he didn't have an energy generator, so you feel bad.
I mean, I say I would I say it's a gray area because an energy generator is not exclusive to any particular deck. Every deck uses it. It's just the main component of any standard deck. There's no such thing as a standard deck that does not have an energy generator. Everyone does. That's just part of the format. If it was a crest, right, like a specific crest, yeah, you need to have that crest because it's not a staple for everyone. You have to have that to accompany it. And also at the same time, if I need to get some clarification on how your crest works, I need to have official cards so I can reference. So you don't have a point of reference. But an energy generator, it's a given that everyone has it, and it's not like the energy generator itself actually has any direct influence on your deck. Your deck plays exactly the same. It's actually why in locals you can just proxy it because it doesn't matter, right? But I can understand, like, officially, yes, you are supposed to have it. So, like, if I hear that Sean called someone out and got a win over it, I'm not gonna like hang it over his head and say, "Ha, why did you do that?" Right? It's just for me personally, I think it would be difficult for me to kind of to have the heart to do that. But I guess it just depends because,
Yeah.
but of course, things are always different when you're actually in the situation. It's easy to talk about something you're not a part of. Because I think, David, on your point, when you were talking about the stakes, right? Like if it's the first round and I see my opponent doesn't have an energy generator, but I probably wouldn't just like call it out immediately to a judge. I'll just ask them like, "Oh, where's your generator? You don't have one?" I was like, "Oh, what happened?" I'll probably try to quickly ask them like, "Well, do you have one? Did you
Oh no,
lose it? Did
it
someone
did
steal
happen
it?"
like that. He I
Yeah.
mean, the situation was he was asking, like when there were like, well, okay, so the exact situation was one of the guys was asking, because he was actually, I think his whole main aim was to roll shark, right? So he was purposely
Sure.
asking if you have an energy generator or not with the G zone. And I think the opponent actually answered, no, I do not have an energy generator. So before even putting the starter down, he called the judge. And I think that's where like the whole like people around that table, like including like my table and next to my table and etc. People were like, oh well, he did have to go that far. But I'm just like, I mean, he did. He could have at least like wait for the game to start, and then, if he didn't flip an energy generator, then I think the question would have been starting then. But even before the tournament started, I think that was just kind of going a little. I don't know. Just my perspective, just have it. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
nothing
mean,
won't happen. I just feel
yeah,
like that's the thing, is like the thing is we pay money to get our cards, right? And we're ready for our tournaments.
sure. That's a good point. It's
Yeah. So
like, we made sure we had ours. Sometimes, I mean, we have to pay the money to have yours. You need to have yours. So I think as far as like fairness in that perspective, I think that can make more sense. That's a good point for you to bring out, David.
yeah.
I'm more just kind of looking at because if you're calling it out, clearly you are trying. You're just,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to just,
Because he
get
didn't
that win. I
even
mean,
flip the bank. Like the guy wasn't even flipping the Vanguard or trying to find out. He was
you're
just
doing
asking that question to
yes,
start off.
but clearly, like if you're calling it out, like you're doing it so that you can get the win.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not doing it because somehow the energy generator not having it magically makes your deck play better, or somehow it
Yeah.
doesn't function. Like I said, the energy, you can literally play without the energy generator and the deck plays the same. It doesn't have any direct influence over how your deck plays.
Agreed.
It's just more of the principle that if every player is expected to have this, you need to have it as well. And the exceptions, in this simile, like I said, if there's a crest, like a stride crest, chronojet crest, I personally will require you to have it, because that's part of the deck. And if you don't have it, then I don't have my own reference to directly check for anything or understand how how that deck works, because sometimes I do have to check. So that's that. I mean, that's kind of I mean, I don't think there will. I think when this situation does happen, bring up. I don't think everyone will ever be pleased with the result. Some people will probably say, "Well, you should have called him out and get the win," because the principles you said, David. But on the other hand, if you do call it out, I can also kind of understand if people have some kind of animosity towards that player doing it, because it's like, come on, man, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
It doesn't change like how the game played, so I can understand both sides. So like I guess I don't know. I can't really give an objective answer on my end because I'm not in that situation. I just know that I don't know if I have the heart to do that to someone, but I guess it just depends,
I mean, I
really.
guess like I said, once again, like it was an X, like all the tables that were near me were X3s. So I'm just like, I mean, you're X3, dude. Like, just
Well,
call
by
it.
that point in the tournament, it's a completely different
Yeah,
story.
exactly. Like,
Well, it's
Yeah.
when you're deep enough in the tournament, then yeah, like I'll ask them like, what happened to your generator, man? Like, did you get stolen or something, or I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's not like you're X1. Like, if you're
Yeah.
X1, I understand, but X3, like, you're not making it, so.
Well, like Gabe said, it's just different when you're in it. So
Yeah, like I don't know, because I could like plenty of people will talk big and say, "No, man, I would do that." I'm like, well, let's see when it actually happens to you. Let's see when the ball, actually bounces in your court, and let's see what you do.
hmm
Because situations could be different. Is I've definitely rule sharked some people before. In throughout my entire history playing card games for like 15 years now, and um there were a few times where the person deserved it, or it was just me just correcting something that they shouldn't be doing. But if it's like a small technicality, I kind of just let it go, because it even happened in my tournament where I can't remember which round in particular, but I think my opponent, he placed a card down and he activated just to give power, right? He only gave power. He didn't like draw a card. He didn't change anything, and then he decided to move it somewhere else and then do it. I let it slide. I was like, that's fine. Um, because at least what I try to do, at least in those situations, like I try to let little things like that go, because in case I make a misplay or something, I can give leverage to say, well, can I try to I try to build a good relationship with opponents, right? Because I don't like to see it as like, me against the world, f all you, f you, you're in front of me, I'm gonna kill you or whatever, Like I don't really try. I try to be friendly with the opponents, make a conversation, and have a good time. Because I always find in my history is that usually if you're cool with the player, you're kind, or not kind, but like you just act friendly with you're friendly with your opponent. You make good conversation, and they could let things, it could be a mutual thing, right? But I don't know. What do you guys think about stuff like that? I guess since we're talking about roof sharking overall.
I think there are certain cases where, like you said, Gabe, where it's just like, you kind of just gotta play it till you're in it. And also, like, even if like you just don't recognize on certain things, just being in high pressure situations, it's just different.
For sure.
And in David's case, like at lower tables, in a situation where it's like not necessarily affecting the larger outcome of the tournament,
Yeah.
you kind of just play it out.
Why give the bad experience? Like, I'm pretty sure he got to the X3 table because he got called out the 3 games that he was at. So I mean, it's just
Yeah,
he's already
just play
X3,
it.
you're already X3. Just play it out. Just let him play.
Yeah,
hmm
I'd say yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, but overall, like regionals, yeah, regionals was good. I look forward to attending the next one. Just hoping that I just bring in a better result for next time. But it was a good experience. I think it was a good experience. So if you guys haven't been to a regionals or maybe haven't been to one in a while, definitely give it a try. Just go have fun. And I don't think there was any incidences that I recall that at least I heard of someone's stuff getting stolen in
Yeah,
the
not this
in
time.
there.
I think the security was super tight.
And man, people, I mean, please, people, pay attention to your stuff. Like, it happened twice actually, where someone left one round, someone left a deck, mat, and dice right next to me, and it was no one around. And I asked, "Who's this? This?" I had to bring it up to the lost and found table, and then another round, someone left their mat and dice like behind, and I turned it in to the to the desk. I'm like, guys, please keep tabs on
I
your
just
stuff.
I just feel like for that case, like people just get salty, so they just take their decks and leave.
I mean, that is kind of funny. It reminded me of a story of Yu-Gi-Oh regionals years ago where someone lost because he had like like the $800 deck meta and he lost out.
Windups.
Yeah, like windups. He went like X3 drop and then he threw he threw the deck in the trash and his friend had to go behind him and pick it up.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Strike hard.
I've seen very
Oh my
interesting
god.
things. I remember that it was like a box tournament or something at locals. I remember like someone was so frustrated they ripped their cards. Like I've seen it.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
I've gotten frustrated. I'll admit, I've gotten frustrated before to where like, I got sacked in like the top four of one of our like local, I guess you can say like big tourney, like Legacy Cup or Dynasty Cup. And then I was just taking my stride deck and piece by piece, I was just slamming it on the table. I was like pissed,
I don't
but
know. Like I kind of outgrew that phase like when I was playing tennis like competitively because I was playing like a higher level. I remember I used to throw my rackets a lot.
oh yeah,
But I
Well,
think that's why
I think
like in
every
card games I don't do that.
yeah,
yeah, I think every tennis player, like even me who like plays casually, like hits their racket on something at least once.
yeah.
The thing is like
Oh,
I was like using $200 racket, so breaking that is definitely not a good idea.
My gosh, the Wilson blade, it's so nice.
But yeah, I
what
think
about you?
having that bad temper is not a good thing. And I haven't seen Anthony do that though. Anthony's a
Yeah,
very
Anthony,
nice.
have you ever gotten salty? Huh?
Yeah, I think there's
Did you throw the Beyblade in someone's balls?
Yeah, I was gonna
no,
say,
no, 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 no. No, I think what happens like, I think, so like Kerr, like Peter made a rule like every player has one free rip card. I think like I pulled like because I got around prize pack. I pulled the card that sacked me. It was like I think Grand Scissor Ezel. I just ripped it up. But I do remember like I think it was like 2 years ago. Like I think it was at Centerville. Kai got sacked that day. He was so salty. I think he opened a few card packs. He ripped up every single card that he pulled. They was like pretty sure you were there, David.
Yeah, I think I was, but I just kind of ignored it because at that time I really didn't care.
Yeah, he ripped it like
that's an insane rule, by the way. One ripped card per player.
I mean, yeah,
Hey,
serious business.
Peter is a great TO. Peter is great.
yeah.
Like if Peter's at a locals like hosting a tournament, that's a good day.
You know
Yeah.
what I do? You know what I do? If I had a card shop, I put a punching bag in like the back room. So if
Ooh,
you're salty, go to the back room and you punch the punching bag.
ooh, actually that's smart too. I didn't think
But
of
it
that.
has to be. I have to put padding on it though, so people don't break their wrist and sue me.
It's called Battling Boxer, but
Well, no,
IRL.
you can just
It's,
hang a boxing glove on the wall or something so they can
Or
just
get one of those
nah,
arcade
people won't do
games.
it. People won't take the time to do it. But I'll hang up plushies. I'll hang up a plushie, and it'll be a picture of like the most hated decks in the meta, and then people just punch it.
That's a good one.
Like F you.
Leonard, stop!
Oh damn, Leonor with the crit. Ooh. The pepper one
Just
too.
punch.
The pepper crit.
Yeah, or I'll get like some baseball spray painted to look like crit triggers, and then you could just throw it at a target really hard, and I'll just put pictures of something like "F you, I'm critting you back."
Oh Lord.
But I feel like that
There's ways to do that.
yeah, at regionals, like I didn't like the thing is like all the games I've played at least, like no one was salty. Although to be fair, I was the one that was getting sacked, so I think as long as I wasn't salty, it was fine.
Yeah, my opponents, the two opponents I was pretty sappy against, they were good
No, I
sports.
mean I was laughing. I was like, hey man, it happens. I was the first one to put my hand out and saying good game because the thing is like at my point, like I guess like when you get to like our age, like playing card games for like 10 plus years, especially Vanguard, it's an expected result.
Yeah.
You could have a great day, right? So if you have a great day and if the opponent doesn't handshake you, whatever, you let it go because people are salty and I get that. But if I get sacked, if I'm the one that's salty and gets frustrated, I think that just shows a bad example of me, and that's one thing I try not to do is be frustrated over the game. I mean, of course, I'm probably gonna talk to Gabe afterwards, like, man, you know what happened? The Jiva player double crit me with an OT, and I'm probably gonna rant and complain, right? But I'm probably not gonna try to get salty at that space because I'll feel bad, and I don't want my opponent to feel bad because it's part of the game. It's not like they wanted to hit the crit. I'm pretty sure they did, but you know, it's an accident.
Well, as
No,
So
they
long as
want to do.
you
No,
don't
don't ever
involve.
apologize. Huh?
Yeah.
yeah, don't
No, go ahead.
apologize. Don't apologize because that's gonna happen to you and that's gonna happen to me. So it's just give a firm handshake. Good game.
Yeah,
Good luck
because
on the next round.
because I remember during a BSF, but I think I was playing against a Loire player. I was at 2 damage. I was like, okay, I gotta take this. I got, I think, blue crit, blue OT, crit. I went straight to 4.
You realize
But,
how many times Anthony has sacked me at a very important tournament?
oh yeah, I remember like the time I came like 30 minutes late to locals, I sacked you and lost the
Yeah.
tournament.
I mean, I was frustrated, but like, it's part of the game. I mean, I was like,
Yeah.
you better win. You better win the whole thing, is what I told him. But that's only because I know Anthony. But it feels like anyone I don't know, I'll just give him a handshake and say, good game. But yeah,
Yeah, like what I always say, like, I don't necessarily agree with the notion that I've heard some people say, like, you shouldn't feel salty or you shouldn't feel salty over a card game. But what I
no,
say
it
is,
happens.
you feel what you naturally feel,
Yeah.
and I always say that, like, to a degree, if you feel a little salty after losing, that means you do care about winning to a certain degree, and there's nothing wrong with having that feeling
No,
and
there isn't.
necessarily embracing it. But I think the important thing is handling yourself with class. You definitely want to handle yourself with class with your opponent. Just give a handshake. Just say good game. If you're frustrated, you don't need to like say anything more. Because I know when I get frustrated, I think I'll admit I was pretty salty after I had my third loss and I just got sacked. Really, I just had bad luck. I was already feeling a little bit bitter after the second loss, but I made sure to stay classy. Keep it classy, keep it professional with my opponent. But I did feel really salty, and
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
I didn't exchange too many words
Yeah.
and it wasn't like with the opponent I was mad, but I was salty, and I didn't want to like say anything else to frustrate myself, but just collect myself, show class, just say good game, shake hands, and kind of walk away, and just reflect on the game and try to take away something from it to learn.
Also,
There's nothing to
too
do.
many people are noticing me, so I couldn't really afford to get salty.
Yeah, of course, but
Me,
I have my image with people of the lucky go guy, the happy go guy type person. So
me
No,
neither.
and also we all have
Getting frustrated.
reputations online, whether we like it or not.
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and people know me, and people I know a lot of people. So honestly, like ripping my own cards or slamming the table or stuff like that, I just don't want to do. Like I said, there's a lot of reasons, but obviously, like Gabe was saying, is we want to show class, right? That's the big thing because we're especially like our age, we're older, so
well, to be honest, let's be honest, age doesn't matter because I've seen 40-year-olds get really pissy at
yeah.
sports games and stuff and be
Yeah,
like
but I try to be
children.
mature about it. And the thing is, I really just enjoy playing the game. I mean, like I said, I mean, I get frustrated. I get salty, right? Because, like I said, the Jiva guy just double crit me and OT'd me, and I'm still talking about it, which means I am salty about it. But the difference is, like, just make the opponent feel. I mean, you don't have to make him feel good, but don't make him feel bad. Because if it
Yeah.
happens to me, or if it happens to him the next time I see him at the next regional, yeah, I mean,
You definitely, that's a
yeah.
good point to bring up because that was actually what I was going to say because you just never know when you'll ever see these people again. You'll never know if you'll need something for this person down the road. There's people who I've met that I've seen that I met 10 years ago and I still see them to this day. And I can only imagine that if my first encounter with them in a tournament was a bad one, well, how would it be with this person now? And like, I mean, I always say when it comes to good luck, bad luck, everyone gets their turn
Yeah, of course.
and it really can be. I've been down there before, and after I felt that way, I vow I'm never going to do that again, where I was kind of salty at somebody, and then the next go around we had, I end up sacking the crap out of that person, and I had nothing to say, and I felt like a complete jackass. So
Yeah.
from that, and this was like over 10 years ago, so from that day forward I was like, I'm never going to be like that again, because with someone, because you just never know, man. And like, and it's like if you get lucky too, I wouldn't want someone to just hang it over my head all the time, and take credit from me from it, because it's not a good feeling overall. Just when
Well,
you're
even in life, you just never know. Like Vanguard could be their outlet, right?
exactly, that's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
point too, and that's
yeah.
how it
Like,
is too.
yeah.
When I hear stories about people's like joy being taken away because of bad experiences like that, and that's why it goes back to where the rule, like rule sharking, like the energy generator, I would just feel really bad because this is a hobby for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know what their story could be, and I don't know. But if it's like highly competitive, if I could see they're highly competitive and they
Yeah.
just didn't, well, first off, how did you not get caught with that up to that point? But it's
I mean,
like
they
I don't know.
did. They
I
did.
don't
That's
have
why they were X3.
yeah, but if it was like, but if it was round one, I honestly would say if it was like round one, I probably would tell them you really need to have it, and I at least I probably would want to be the guy to tell them and really emphasize they need to have it because be thankful that it's me who catches you, not another person, because they could shark you. Because I just don't have the heart to like make that your first encounter,
I
in the
agree.
tournament, because I think that's just a terrible feeling, and I don't know, it wouldn't sit right with me personally.
I agree.
Because you don't know, because like then you'll be known as the people will see it. They'll be like, hey, that's the guy that Real Shark did. And then who knows? Maybe I'm in the final round and I need to win, and then I make one slight mistake that I want to take back, and they won't let me. like like there is that karma thing, right? Because once you have a certain reputation, people will hang it over you, and
Yeah.
that's how it is with me. That's for me personally, but everyone has their own perception, and I respect that as well.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, Anthony knows, right? Like, when I got Anthony into Vanguard, like, he knows me as the person that got him in. But I was very nice with them. The thing is, like, realistically, you gotta take care of the new players, right? That comes in, because you can't have a bad image of the game and as a player to try to sell the game to them, right? Like, if I was a bad person and if I didn't help Anthony get into the game, he would, I'm pretty sure he would have been playing a different game by now, not spending all the money that he plays, and that's one less player. That's one less player that'll get me my promos that I need.
Yeah.
But I actually agree with that because like I'm pretty sure like I think because like when I first met you, David, right? Like when you introduced me to the group, like I got like a good vibe from everybody, and like
Yeah.
sure John then could be if could,
Oh, Park.
like yeah Parker like sometimes like he gives a vibe he hates me, but he does go like sometimes makes that way like to actually talk to me sometimes.
It's okay. He doesn't like everyone, so don't worry
Yeah,
about
Yeah,
it.
we're just joking.
but
We're joking, people. And people take that
yeah,
seriously.
but yeah,
Um,
I think because of that, like I actually like stayed around with the game and just hang out with everybody,
Yeah.
and
And like I
you guys
said, I
became like
think
my good
that
friends.
giving good vibes is very important. And I think especially in a
Yeah,
regionals environment, it's very important that we we give a good vibe. And the key thing that I realized this year especially, for regionals is we had average of 500 players every regional so far in the States. And from what I've heard, from all the experiences from other people, a lot of them were new players and their first regionals.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Really, this year?
Yep. So Boba Hero players that we're teams with,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the team name is like Blitz Industry is what we call ourselves, which is kind of cool.
That is
Yeah, I like it. But so all the players there, they all started this year. They all started in Divines. Like Divines won. So their first regionals was Springfest, but this is technically their first BCS because BCS and Springfest are totally different competitive vibes. So you got to realize that a lot of people are new, and I feel like that you can't give up the bad vibes, especially to newer players.
Yeah, I mean, and there has to be, and obviously leading up to it in preparation with them, at locals. I mean, you still have to hold a degree of accountability for the players just to know
Of course.
that, hey, you gotta play things, you have to do things properly. There are appropriate ways to do this, but um, it's like I said, there are little things that you can kind of get away with. I mean, I'm not really like real sharky to that extent, but my threshold is basically if you do something that does change the game state to where you possibly could influence what you'd want to do before if you knew like the next if you like drew a card, right? You played, you did a skill and you drew a card and then all of a sudden you want to change your mind on the placement or something. I have to say no, because maybe the card that you drew randomly actually would have been better, would have been a better outcome if you actually played it a different way. But no, like that's where I would say nah, you can't. That makes sense. But if you're just like playing something, you apply power and then
You
nothing
just want to
changed
take the
game
power
state
back,
wise,
yeah. It doesn't change
or
the
if you
game
want to change
state
the
too much.
power, yeah, or be like, oh, I just want to rearrange this. That's fine. That's fine.
as long as you didn't like attack or like
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if you declare attack, like if you like it happened a few times and I did it too. Like it's just they declare attack and before I even have a chance to guard, they're like, actually, wait, let me do this. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. I'm like, that's fine. But, like I'm cool with that. Like that's fine.
Well, remember, like, I'm pretty sure, like, this is a situation with one of the players at locals well, he's not here anymore. I think, I remember his name was Zach, right? Right, David?
I'm not sure. Well, what's called
Zach
this first?
from
Yeah,
like
Well,
Old Curios.
I'm not sure.
the Oak Courier, like, an old guild.
Yeah.
I remember, like, there was like a certain situation coming around, like, I think one day, you pulled me aside, like, saying, like, if he did anything to make me feel uncomfortable. I think like that's what made me stay around because like it showed like you actually care about the players here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the thing is like dramas tend to happen at locals, but the thing is like for me, I wanted to take care, especially the younger audiences, because the thing is that they're not at a legal age. Especially
Yeah,
like Anthony's case, like I think at the time you were like what, 16?
I was 16, yeah, 15 or
Yeah, so
16.
I was just trying to make sure I take care of the younger players because I was the oldest person at the time. So I just wanted to make sure that if something, if they felt uncomfortable about certain situations, just let me know. I just wanted to make sure that they're protected because I'll feel bad because Gabe has a younger brother, I have a younger sister, so we want to make sure that they don't get taken advantage of or whatever not. So, I just tend to
Well,
hold them like, hey, if you feel like any dangerous vibes from someone, just let me know. I got your back.
Well, I think this is beyond card games at this
Yeah.
point.
So
yeah. I was about to say
no,
like,
but
well, even
it happens at locals a lot. Like before. We see less of it now, but this is like when we were rebuilding the whole community because of our certain drama that happened in our area at the time. So I was
Yeah,
just making
yeah,
sure everyone's taken care of.
yeah. Of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Yeah.
Just make a good, welcoming environment
Yeah,
for players. That's
exactly.
pretty much it. That's
And
all.
the thing is like if you do that for someone else is going to do that for another new player, right? And I think that's why our locals has been hitting like what? Last time we hit like 27 players for locals.
wow.
Yeah.
That was a while
Yeah,
ago.
we've been popping. And
We've been getting groups.
yeah, we're getting a lot of the college groups, and then there's like a separate group of people from like different card games that's coming in. So I mean, for Curious locals,
Damn.
I think we had 27. For Boba Hero, we've been averaging like at least 10 a week, which is pretty good. Because like Boba Hero is a very far location. It's on Mondays, so for locals that do Monday nights, it's actually not bad.
No, for sure.
Damn, I was spoiled. We had a bushy club at U of H.
That's funny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nerds. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, we played on the third floor of the library. It was a blast. I can tell you that much.
It kind
Man,
of reminds
if
how
only
we started
if
our
only playing
Curios location.
if only playing card games in school was like cool growing up.
I know. It's unfortunate. But
Remember those days?
overall, how do you guys like I know that I said that I really personally like everything for regionals in 2024. I'm pretty sure you all guys feel the same way about this year's regionals.
Yeah.
Minus the time. Like at mine. Like I had a blast.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't
Same here.
experience it from Springfest, but so far I like it.
Well, how's Springfest? Because I know Springfest and BCS is totally different.
From I went to Springfest in like I think White Plains, New York. It was somewhat chill. A little drama there happened, but I can get to that another time. But overall, it's pretty chill.
Okay.
Everyone just vibing. Our group was just chill today.
Well, I was gonna say we all overall had good experience with regionals this year, and I'm hoping Bushiroad definitely keeps up the amazing prize support, the amazing conventions that they're picking to do locals, and then hopefully because that Divines is doing so well, we get more players, and I hope the community gets bigger for Vanguard is what I'm really hoping for. And you know, Vanguard could definitely be one of those top tier games. Because I remember they used to be like top five at one point. I know right now we're doing really well. I think we're in the top seven of card games right now. For Vanguard. So hopefully
I
we
think
get our throne back of being like the top five games eventually because the community's growing. So something I look
Yeah,
forward to.
I think
Yeah,
currently
I
in
agree.
Japan, Vanguard's like top 6 right now, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
They're definitely growing right now. Divines is definitely a good Kickstarter for that, and we all feel the same way because I came back during Divines. Domino came back during Divines. I think you came back in Divines as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
did.
think Divines is such a good format that it kind of motivates a lot of our players to play. So,
Yeah, I agree.
but I think this is a good closing point. I think we overall had a good experience. I think this is a good closing point. But I guess we can start off with shadows that if we have anything personal. But I'll kind of go start off, and then we'll just and then someone can pick off me after I'm done. But shout outs to the players that made top 32 at Philly regionals, and of course shout outs to everyone, all the 570 players I believe at Philly that participated and had fun and made a great experience for us. And then shout outs to people that noticed us and say hi to us, even though it's been years. And I really appreciate you guys still following me on my podcast and then recognizing us. It was very nice of you guys to say hi first because I was definitely a little shy and I kind of wanted to stay a little low key to be honest. But people kind of noticed my name and I had a face mask on. So as soon as I took off my mask, people start noticing me. So appreciate that. And then shout outs to our locals at Boba Hero, and then shout outs to our teammates at Blitz Industry at Boba Hero. Shout outs to players at Curios that made the top 32, and everyone that participated at regionals. And I would say thank you for keeping up with us, and hope you guys keep listening to our podcast. Who's next?
Just had a great time at regionals. Shout out again to the subscribers I've met. Gary Baker, Doug, Hal. You all, it's very refreshing just to see that there's still people out there who just remembered just the stuff I've done in the past.
Well, I was gonna say,
Hopefully,
Chris is your biggest fan, right?
Come on. Cute. But yeah, no. Hopefully we can look forward to more content from me. We're gonna try and work on. I'm gonna try and work on. I'm definitely motivated, to try and just get some content out there for you guys. At whatever pace I try to go at. But yeah, I've been very motivated with this game. I think that's really the whole idea with the regionals is once you go, you have a good time, you just become more motivated than ever about the game, and I think that's always been the thing. So just fun
I
event.
would say
Can't wait to
I got an
can't wait
extra
to go to
deck
the next
now,
one.
so I'll definitely start
God.
be filming with Domino's channel because I have a couple decks that he probably wants to film because I just got my hands on Leo Odium at regionals, so
Yep. Like set 5, definitely because I kind of want to wait till set 5 because anything I do set 4 at this point is just obsolete.
yeah.
So set
That's
5 is
fair.
gonna definitely be game. It's definitely gonna be meta changing, and I got some decks I'm cooking up that I'm looking forward to. So I'm getting them ready as we speak. So look forward to that.
Sean, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So shout outs to Domino Paris and Iamvanguard for having me on. It's always a blessing to talk Vanguard with them. Shout outs to Anthony. It's great talking to him finally. He watched, I think, a bit of me and gave test Leonore versus Langdemeier this week, so cool to talk with him. And yeah, shout outs to the people who got me back into this game, Commander Jaime and Will Pang and Team Ham.
Oh yeah, definitely say hi to Commander Jaime. I definitely want to be able to talk with him at some point because I actually look at his channel here and there because I use him as a reference for my Maelstrom decks.
Oh, get ready. Me and Jaime are working on something. So
Ooh, let me know too. I'm building Maelstrom too, so
Well, let's
Yeah.
invite him here.
yeah,
Let's invite him
Yeah.
here.
yeah, let's invite him here. That'd be fun.
yeah. Let me help me get connected with him.
Yeah, I got you.
Anthony.
Like, goes to my mic's been help. Alright. Shout out to Gabe and David for inviting me onto the podcast again. Shout out to Sean for being here. Let's see. I guess shout out to everyone who topped at Philly, Peter, Rudy, Jason, and Siobhan. Shout out to my Oshi, I guess, Mikaneko, and shout out to my sponsor, Calvin, because we're opening a master case tomorrow.
Oh,
Wait, let you-
is he opening case?
Yeah, we're opening a master case tomorrow.
Ooh, I might have to message Calvin.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to for that.
I'm definitely grabbing his Odium stuff and his Varka stuff. I can actually play those decks now.
Let's go.
All right, awesome. All right, well, guys, thank you for listening to the Iamvanguard podcast, and we will be back with a different topic next week. Undecided for now.
Always.
All right, bye,
I don't know.
guys. Thank you for listening.
Later.
Fair.